This is Mark the Meerkat, and hey, the market is down 218 points. That's okay. We were up big yesterday. We just pulled back a little bit. All kinds of geopolitical news. This is Mark the Meerkat in for D7 while he's out on that boat, helping deliver that boat there from Norfolk, Virginia down to North Carolina this week. But let's take a look here at the numbers for the day. Look at the S&P was down just 0.5%. The Dow was down just 0.8%. The NASDAQ was down 0.5% as well. And then we've got the small cap Russells. They were actually up. That's right, plus 0.2%. Bank up 1.7% on the publishing of the Fed minutes, and boom, it did bump up here this afternoon. Now the VIX, it's staying above 20, folks. We are in a volatile market, not one that is driven by the financials, but one that's driven by geopolitical news. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And then we had oil. Kaboom on oil today. That's right, folks. It closed at a 4-year high here. It actually went above $67 for a while and closed just below that at about 66.77. And on the WTI oil. So it is booming right now. And of course, but part of it was geopolitical news. Saudi Arabia said there were some missiles fired. Everybody going a little nuts. So on the reaction to that, gold and silver, they were up today, up strong today. And then we've got the dollar. It was break even for the day. And our trend right spot on, right at 1.01. So today there is no trend trade. Yesterday it closed at 0.48. The trend trade was on. The market opened up down over 200 points. So the Grok graduates, the trend trade really worked here yesterday if you got in on it. All right, let's take a look here at the charts on the S&P 500. We're looking at the SPY, the ETF on the S&P 500, and we are in a giant symmetrical triangle. But I want you to look very closely here. Look at this. We keep bouncing off this big red 200 moving average here on the chart, and look at that. We did close it below at one time, but everything else we've been staying above it. Now we were really worried that on the weekend that it was going to really crash down. Well, guess what? It did not. We have bounced up here, but now we're hitting our head on this 20 moving average. We got the 50 and we got this up here. So we are struggling, folks, as a market. We just cannot seem to break out. One day we're up big, the next day we're down big. It is just a very hard market. It's very volatile. It's very hard to keep our cool, sit back, watch the charts, and not listen to those talking heads and letting all that news that's driving the market out there. I mean, first of all, it was China and the tariffs, and then it was Russia, and then now it's the Middle East, and it just keeps on churning. The news does, which is dramatically affecting the market. And, oh, maybe interest rates will go up. Okay, well, you know, what a surprise. They've been at record lows for how many years? So let's keep cooler heads here. Let's take a look at the Dow itself. Very similar to the S&P in this symmetrical triangle, and we are actually at the top of the symmetrical triangle on the Dow, but right at the 20 moving average. We just closed below it today. We were closed above it yesterday after the big update yesterday. And then we had the NASDAQ here, represented by the QQQ, and you know, it was in a falling wedge. We were concerned about that on the weekend, but it is now broken above this upper resistance line here on the falling wedge. So this is a falling wedge. This is a bullish formation, so it has broken out from that, but we still have that 20 and 50 moving overhead. Again, we stayed above the 200 moving average as we did with the Dow as well. Now the small cap Russell here, a little bit interesting story here. It actually closed positive today, and it closed above the 20 and the 50 moving average. It closed above the 50 and below the 20 yesterday, today above both of them. So a strong day here on the small caps. And it came down, look at that. It opened, it closed right at the 200 moving average here last week, and it tagged it, and now it's on its way back up. So this one's looking a little bit more bullish than the rest of the markets. Let's take a look at that VIX. Now we are in a volatile market. Now if you look back here, look how far we can go back. Look how low it was for so long. We're not used to this type of volatility, folks. And we, the normal used to be low volatility was between 20 and 15. Well, we went a year and a half of it being below 10 at many times. So that is just unheard of low volatility. Well, right now we are hanging above 20. We can't seem to get back below the 20. Now, above 20 is considered a volatile market. And so that means big swings every day. And we are at the hand of all the news and geopolitical news that is out there. Now then, that oil, boy, it really took off today. Here's the daily chart on the oil. Look at that. Yesterday, kaboom, and today, super kaboom. It went up over $77 a barrel on the WTI, and then pulled back and closed just under that. Very big day in the last 2 days on oil. Again, a lot of it driven by geopolitical news. And again, we have to play the charts. We can't count on news. We have to just read the charts, and either we are in position to take advantage of it when the charts are telling us, versus just guessing on what might happen next, and trying to be in position ahead of time. The other one we want to take a look here is at Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg did complete his testimonies here in 2 days of Congress yesterday. Kaboom! And then again again today. And so it is beginning its recovery since the scandal started back here. Look at this. We were in a really beautiful symmetrical triangle here on Facebook. Man, that would have been it could have gone either way, and it didn't. But again, it was news that counted on this. And look at that symmetrical triangle, but it failed and just kept on falling here. So now we are at some major support, and it's now starting to work its way back up. We'll still to see where that goes from here. This is Mark the Meerkat. Hey, just remember that at Grok Trade, we listen to what the charts are telling us, not to those talking heads on TV. Trade well, and may your winners run.